So in any case, you couldn't hear anything else I was saying, but mostly I was saying that you're drawing a letter K, that when I was drawing the letter K, it was starting to look very tree-like, which made me happy. So I have put some hollow spaces in the tree for flowers to come through. I've added some branches to the tree and little curly cues to the tree to be able to work with that. So we're going to have we'll just have the flower start coming out of the tree, so if it goes left, right, that would be alright. So we'll have it come out like this. And come out through here. Come out like that. Come out over there. We'll come out with a flower up here. And actually I'm not going to draw that flower in because I'll just paint it with watercolors. Right, we'll have it start over here. Alright, so we got a flower going up one side. We've got these little branches over here growing like that. We'll have a butterfly flying over here. Alright, so we got a butterfly, we got a tree, we got some vines. What else should I put in here? I suppose a bird. And we have this nice area up here. We put it this way. Then we have a space for its tail. Alright, so we got a bird, we got a butterfly, we have some vines and flowers and some branches. Next up, take a final look, make sure there isn't anything we want to change, because you can change things easily in pencil, but it's a lot harder once you get to the pen stage. So make sure your pen is waterproof. I use the Sakura Jelly Roll 06 because it happens to be what I have in the house, but you can use any waterproof pen that you want. I'm just going to turn it so it's easier for me to get to. So now we're going to draw over all our lines in pen. If you find something that you want to change, I recommend redrawing it in pencil before you make the change, because you might think that it's a relatively easy change, but it could be that your change actually causes some other challenges. And it's better to see that first in pencil and to keep making your tweaks rather than doing something unusual with your pen and then realizing that you've created a problem for yourself. That being said, you don't have to exactly follow your pencil lines. If you need to, you can erase the pencil once you get your pen down. Just give your pen a chance to dry. Pen might look like it dries instantly, but actually needs a little bit of drying time. So make sure you give it the drying time, and also be cautious when you're moving your hand around that you don't smear the pen while it's in the drying phase. Alright, we got a butterfly. We got some antennas. We've got a bird. Another little branch. Now the pillar part. So what are you guys drawing today? Anything interesting? Are you drawing the letter K with me? Are you drawing something else? I like the letters project because it's a way to draw something personal and unique for each person in your life. You could do first name letters, you could do last names, you could do nicknames. If you were feeling ambitious, you could do every single letter in someone's name. And you can personalize it to the particular things a person's interested in. So if someone loves flowers, you can do flowers. If someone loves birds, you can put in birds. All sorts of options, and we'll leave that free for the flower at the top. Alright, so I think we've got all the major shapes in there that are covered. Alright, get that back. Alright, we'll let that dry for a second. Alright, if I'm going to be doing little tiny flowers, I need a small brush for the tip. It's sort of small. Alright, I'll try going with that one. That one's reasonably small. Well, actually, I have these other ones. These brushes are watercolor specific from Artist Loft, and this is my smaller set. I suppose I can just add them into the other set. I was keeping them separate while I was doing all my tests, but I think that we are at the stage that we don't need to test anymore. None of these brushes have a really good point though. When you buy inexpensive brushes, you get the benefit of them being inexpensive, and you get the downside of them not necessarily having the great point or shape that you could use. Alright, colors. It's good to decide on colors before you start painting things. I'm going to use brown for most of it because of my wood theme that I'm going for here. There's going to be green for the leaves, so we'll have brown and green. And let's do blue. Alright, so the little flower I'm going to put over here is going to have petals. I think we'll go with the phthalo blue. And petals you need to do in separate segments so that each one looks like a separate petal. The cat is climbing right in front of me right now. Kitty, I'm trying to paint a petal and all I can see is your tail and your butt. Yes, you're a very good kitty. Very good kitty, thank you. Alright, we're going to put that petal in. Yes, you are a very good kitty. Such a good kitty. You're going to eat the brush. Yes, give the brush a nice chew so that we know that it is properly chewed on. Alright, can you go back over? There you go, to the mouse pad. Yep, sit right there. That's a perfect place for a kitty. Alright, kitty's laying on my mouse pad now. This gives me a chance to paint the bird blue. Alright. Paint the butterfly blue. Now I've got that song, but I'm blue, dabba dee, dabba die, stuck in my head. Which I suppose is better than all those songs about having a blue Christmas and so on. Alright, we got blue. I'm gonna have to let the flowers dry before I put anything else in there. Well, let's do the green of the flowers next. We'll go with the permanent green light. That was a phthalo blue, if you are curious. And actually, let's look at it in the thing. I used to have all sorts of problems with my cell phone, which is what I've used up until now for my videos. And I have switched this past week over to using my Logitech Brio camera. And so far, the color balance seems much, much better with the Logitech. I used to have problems with the colors that I was painting with looking very different in person versus what the screen would show, which is a challenge when people are trying to paint the things that I'm painting. So I'm very pleased that the Logitech is showing accurate colors. Alright, I'm liking the little leafy bits. I am liking the little creatures. Put that there. My cat is coming back again. Yes, you are such a good kitty. Such a good kitty. Thank you for coming to visit us. Alright, which brown should I use? I think I'm going to go with burnt sienna. Kitty? Kitty, what are you even eating over there? Clearly nothing that should be eaten. Sweetie pie. The adventures of having kitties. Alright. Grab a brush. Wait for the kitty to get bored of eating the pencils. Come on, sweetie. Come back over to the mouse pad. You know, the times that I'm trying to use the mouse pad, the cat is all over the mouse pad. But then the time that I'm trying to use the brush, the cat is all over eating the brush. I think the common denominator is whatever... No, you can't sit on the painting. Come on, sweetie. Whatever I am trying to do, the cat wants to be involved. Oh, the cat has stolen my brush and is running off with it. This is clearly... Fine, I will use a different brush. Alright, new brush. After the cat interlude. So we're going to go with a burnt sienna. We're going to paint around these holes that hopefully gave the green a time to dry. Now in general we want this wood to have a grain of up and down. Whatever grain we choose, we want to be reasonably consistent. Now we have this line in the K. I suppose I should get rid of this before we get too much further.
I think time should advance and you have a 0, 0 round. And that's why some rest will do this bad rest.
There we go. Go around the holes. Go up the sides. And watercolor is done in layers. So always think in terms of the layers that you're creating. Go up over here. If you want to think about shading, in general these kinds of letters aren't shaded very much, but usually the sun or the light source comes from a certain direction. Usually it's a top direction. I tend to assume that my light source is in the top right. That would put shadows over on the lower left. But we can get to that next. It's also good to remember with watercolors that they dry later than what you put on. So whatever color you put on, it's going to dry and lighten a bit. So it's better not to go on too heavy at the beginning, and you can always add additional layers to darken things up. Most of the light in watercolors comes from the light of the room bouncing off of the white of the paper and then reflecting back out at your eyes. So the more layers of pigment you put down, the darker it gets, because you are blocking more and more the light from reaching the paper and then coming back out to your eyeball. So when you think in terms of darkening something, think about adding more layers of color to the image, and that'll make it darker and darker in most cases. Alright. Often when I do these medieval letters, I create internal layers of different colors, but I think with this one having this tree theme, that it'll keep everything tree-y and just create some shadows and nooks in the tree itself. So then the bottom of the tree would be a little darker. The underside of the branches would be a little darker. Alright, I'll put some more on the trunk. The side of the trunk here. Alright, and try to avoid any bright white spots, because those will tend to draw the eye. So if you spot any areas that you didn't quite get with color, this is a good time to fill it in. Alright, so we got the brown. We got a little bit of texturing in there. Got some cat hairs for some mysterious reason, as if we just had a cat climbing all over our image. Oh, and a branch I forgot. All right. Do the underside here. The underside side here. Nooks and crannies here. Alright, I think we get the gist of it. Alright, hopefully the blue for the top petals, layer 1 is dry. We're going to put in some additional petals. It's good to do each layer of petals as a separate piece that does not touch, because then they stand out against each other better. I think I might put another little one right over here. Just add a little more burst of color. And maybe a little growing bud over here. There we go. Alright. The bird should get an orange beak. The blue of that body should be done. Drying. Alright. We'll give the butterfly an orange body if we're going with a little orange color in here. And I like to make the holes a little darker. So we will go with raw umber, which is right here. You want to make sure you give the surrounding paint a little time to dry so that your adjoining color does not accidentally touch a adjacent wet area and then billow out into it. There are times when you do want watercolors to merge and blend, but in general this kind of situation is not one of those. Alrighty. Well, maybe a little darker. Alright. You should be able to add a little more detail to the bird wing now. That hopefully that blue layer of the bird has dried. Maybe a little stripe of blue to the tail. butterfly to be a little darker blue. And an extra little petal to the flower. Alrighty. I was thinking I could add a little curl to the top of the bird's head, but I think I will leave it as it is. Alright, and it's a good practice to get into to always sign your work. So there you go. That is a letter K. So let me know if you have any questions about creating a letter K. We are going through all the letters in the alphabet, so if you did not need a K but you needed something else, you can either look back through the old videos to find the previous letters, or we will move forward through the next letters, and that way you can get to the letter that you are waiting for.